Hello and welcome to our latest episode of What's on the Horizon. I'm Lori Sharenbrack here with Chris Schucker of Digital Horizons, and we are coming to you from the incredible Experience Center here in Brainerd, Minnesota. If you've never had a visit, consider this your invitation. Come on in.
Yep.
And as I'm sitting here looking at your gorgeous Sony 7,000-inch TV, I mean, I don't even know, but can you talk to me about Sony and why do you guys use them?
It's funny sitting. Great. I mean, I don't actively sit in here and look at the television.
Sure.
I don't really. I'm used to it being an 85-inch TV, but I don't even think about it much until somebody points it out. But
she's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice TV for sure. So we use Sony for a number of reasons, or we've partnered with Sony for a number of reasons. Primarily Sony, out of all of the main TV manufacturers, which in this day and age, there's really only 3 brand names. And then there's a bunch of others that the names have been bought and they're just there's somebody manufacturing under the name.
Sure.
But you have Sony, LG, and Samsung are kind of the three main manufacturers. And out of those, Sony, hands down, for people in our line of work, we call ourselves integrators, technology installers, that type of thing. They by far have the best program that takes care of us. And a couple of the things in that are, for example, if we order in televisions, and the way we normally do that is because we don't do retail sales.
Sure.
I mean, we have clients that just want to buy a television for a gift or for a holiday or, for whatever reason. Most of the time when somebody wants us to provide a television, we're installing it and, there's, some other active things going on. But when we buy the televisions and they come in via freight, they protect us when there's damage in an almost unconditional way. A lot of other vendors and manufacturers will only back up the product for a week or 14 days. And so if it comes in and we can't immediately inspect it for damage, which means unboxing it and taking it out of the packaging, getting rid of the styrofoam, plugging it in and making sure it works fully, we can get stuck with a damaged television. So if we're, for example, doing a new construction project and we order things, a month in advance because we're planning on installing, just to have things here. And let's say we don't unbox the television, because that's our normal process is when we get something in within a reasonable amount of time, we'll unbox it and make sure it's whole. But let's say that falls through because not everything goes according to plan always. Yep. After a month or 6 weeks, if I find that there's a television with concealed damage, because if we get a box and it's clearly punctured or, dropped or whatever, we refuse it. And that's a whole separate scenario. But Sony basically unconditionally says, hey, that happened. Give us proof, send us pictures, document stuff, fill out, the forms necessary, and they just take it back.
Wow.
They don't mess around. So what that means for those that we work with is that there's no messing around.
No.
There's no, oh, I'm sorry, this is your television, this and that. And Sony just takes care of it. So it takes a lot of pressure off us, which means we know we can just do what we need to do and install the best systems. They have programs for us to buy things and offer it at the same price anybody else does.
Sure.
So when somebody comes to us for a television, they don't have to worry about getting the best price on it. It's the same no matter where they buy it from, if it's Amazon or Costco or anything like that. I mean, we do a sizable amount of business with them so that it's, it's not hard for them to offer that.
Sure.
But obviously don't sell as many as a Target or, well, they're not really sold to Target, but like Best Buy or something like that. So that it allows for that. And then the last thing, which to us is almost the most important thing, is Sony forever has been focused on the ability to be integrated and to be automated.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is they do and add features to the television that allows the television, and their other products too, because clearly they make projectors and surround receivers and all these other things. They make those products along with the televisions capable of being automated. And so, for example, when we install Control 4, which is a home automation system, and we set somebody up with a smart remote, when you pick up that remote and you select, say, cable TV as a function of the room that you're in, one of the functions is we have to have the television turn on. And so without something called a discrete code, the alternative is something called a toggle code. So when you pick up your normal TV remote, there's usually a button on there that says power. And that button is programmed to send out a command, and that's referred to as a toggle command. And because the remote doesn't know what mode your television is, it just tells the TV to do something, and it's going to be the opposite of what it's in. So when you press that button and it's off, it will turn on. And when it's on, it turns off. That's called a toggle. When we're doing automation, toggle commands are bad because we don't know when we're in our office and you're at your home in Brainerd or Nisswa or wherever it is, we don't know what mode your television is in. And you don't either sometimes. So when you pick up the remote and you hit cable, if the TV was already on and let's say you were watching Blu-ray, with a toggle command, it's going to turn off, and that's bad. And the long-winded follow-up to all of this, or to get to the point, is Sony has discrete commands for power and other things so that when I want to just turn the TV on, I can program the Control 4 remote to only turn on. So when you are watching cable TV and you want to switch over to watching Apple TV for streaming, or you want to watch a Blu-ray or something like that, and you switch modes, I don't have to worry about not knowing what mode the TV's in because I can tell it to just turn on and then just change inputs. And then also when you want to turn the room off, because on Control 4, there's this really sleek room off button, I can tell the TV just to turn off. And ultimately what it means is in programming, I can predictably dictate what the television is supposed to do. And the ultimate end result to all of this is I can deliver a better user experience to someone when it comes to automating everything. So Sony has been really good with that for years and years and years, to the point that I can take a set of infrared, and this is getting technical, but I can take a set of infrared commands from the late 70s when Sony was making televisions way back then. And tell a current television to turn on and off with those codes. So year after year after year, I don't have to dig in and learn and do a ton of research to figure out, all right, what are they using for codes this year? It's literally the same thing throughout. And so the end result is currently, and for the last 5 or 6 years, they've been making the best TVs. We offer them at the same price anybody else can get them at. We can create and program them to create an unbelievable user experience. And it's just a recognizable brand is probably the last thing. Most people, when they come to us, they don't know or don't care about the brands that we work with and we provide because they're coming to us for a digital horizon system. But sometimes the TVs are the thing that people do ask about and care more about because they have loyalty towards it. It's very similar to vehicles, like for me, I'm a huge Toyota fan and I probably wouldn't drive much else than that. I'm sorry if it offended anybody. But we work with Chevy and Ford customers the like. But Sony and some other brands, people have a lot of loyalty towards, and they have just a really solid history. So they're one of the few that we're really, not one of the few we're proud, but we are very proud to have them as a partner in what we do.
Well, something that you left off the list that I think is super important is that you also get some customer service after it's installed. Like you don't just install that beautiful Sony TV and walk away. That if something goes wrong, you guys are there. Sony is there to say, oh yeah, that's not right. That something went wrong. And be able to service those clients too.
Well, and the great thing is that out of, I don't even know how many I don't even know if I could easily look this up, but easily hundreds and hundreds of televisions
Sure.
since we started, maybe even thousands, probably thousands actually. I'm trying to think about how many now, and it's not practical to come up with a number, but let's just say it's a lot.
Yeah.
We've had 3 instances of warranty issues.
I mean,
and it's not uncommon in the electronics industry
Sure.
for a warranty failure rate to be about 3 or 4%, and they hold up. We've probably had more problems with Sony televisions with natural disasters like lightning
certainly
than actual normal
like a product
rates.
failure. It was due to circumstances
Correct.
you couldn't even control.
Exactly.
Well, and even in those instances, I'm sure they're pretty great to work with too.
In lightning, it's kind of it's Sony would love to sell you a new television.
I'm sure they would.
That's what it comes down to.
I mean, and why not? Because if you can have the next greatest
you're
one,
getting reimbursed by the insurance company.
Why not? You might as well, and get some great service from you guys on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Any other good nuggets to share about Sony and anything like that?
No, I think that's that. I think for the amount of time I talked about, I think that covered most of it.
Well, I mean, and if you're not a believer yet, then you definitely need to make an appointment to come here to the Experience Center and see what a difference it makes to have a brand like that and what the picture looks like and how great that experience plus the Control4 and what that all looks like together. So making an appointment to come here is really great. And you can do that by calling.
Yep. Or visiting our website down below.
Yeah. And they'll get you in and you'll really get to see what an incredible difference it is. So thank you for joining us today and we'll see you next episode.